Okay, so here today, what we're gonna do is swap out my, not all of them, but just one defective tuning peg. So I don't know what happened, but I'll take it off and we're gonna diagnose it and see kind of if we can even fix it here, or if I'm gonna have 5 out of 6 in a set, which is kind of useless. I don't know, but I'm hoping I can fix it on my own. But I went ahead, since these were on a Prime deal, went ahead and just bought another set from StuMac. So big shout out to them. I don't have any sponsors, but whatever. So here we go. I'm gonna walk you guys through what I'm gonna do if no one's ever switched out tuning pegs before or are afraid of it. It's not a lot of work, and it doesn't even take a lot of tools, really. I have a very basic tool setup. I'll go through everything you need, and we'll just get it out. It's gonna be really easy, less than, I'm doing one, so it'll probably take me less than 5 minutes to do, maybe less than 20 to do the whole set. So it's pretty chill. And so let's go ahead and talk about what's needed for this. Okay, so very basic tool setup. I have my Ratchet. I just got this at AutoZone. I have this. I don't know if I'm gonna need it. It's a very tiny version of a crescent wrench. I got it at Home Depot. I thought it would be perfect for little stuff like working on my guitars or any of my other hobbies that involve tiny, things that I might need to grab on. And I'll show you in comparison the size difference. I'll grab just a set of pliers. This is a standard set of pliers, and you can see how teeny tiny this little crescent wrench is. So this here, I have a long, it's called a deep socket 10 millimeter. Again, this isn't expensive to find. You can find them on AutoZone. Home Depot carries these. It's very basic. Now 10 millimeter is widely used across anything import related. So that's the difference between millimeter and what's known as SAE. SAE is like standard for US style tools, or bolts or nuts or things like that. But this day and age, SAE is kind of like you don't really use it, because a lot of the hardware that's being used to put together these products, whether it be guitar or like gun parts or any type of other plumbing, anything really, it's typically used in millimeters. So the 10 mil is very, very common. And it's kind of a meme out there that these are worth more than gold, because 9 times out of 10, what you're going to use is a 10 millimeter socket. And a lot of the times they go missing or you misplace them because they're so commonly used. So you can even pick up a couple of these. Deep sockets are what you want. This particular brand, Gotoh, they are very short, so it's not necessary. You could probably get away with using a standard, but it's always good to have, because you never know if you got something in a hard to reach place and need that extra depth. Okay, so we have this here, just a small little ratchet. And then I have just one of my screwdrivers. It's like a multi-screwdriver thingy. I picked it up at Home Depot. The drill bit or driver bit can fit here if you don't need that much length. But I like to have it just because it feels more normal to me. And then the bottom has all of these different driver bits. I painted one of them because it's a very common used on one of my other projects I got going on. But that's it, really. You need, honestly, the essentials: a ratchet and a socket, a screwdriver. Maybe I'll need this. I don't know. I just brought them out just because I think they're cute, but maybe I'll use it. And then so let's talk about the hardware that is going on today. So Gotoh locking tuners. These things are so kick-ass. I love them so much. I swear by them. I don't know if it was defective or maybe I just got a bad batch or something. It's really strange of what's going on, but I'm going to show you guys what this actually is. Hopefully these are two different sizes, which I believe they are. So if you could tell, let's put them, let's see, these are the long ones. So that means one of these over here might be the short ones. Let's take a look. It's still the same. Let's take them out. And you know, I didn't even realize that they did this, but they do. They vary in height. The reason I figured that out is because I put them all in thinking they were all the same, but they weren't. And I had to take them out again. Okay, so here's the height difference. Is the camera? Okay, perfect. So you can see they're both basically lined up. One post is higher than the other, which it's not by much, but it's enough. And the reason why is because when you're adding these on, you can't really tell. Okay. You could see here, you have. So when you install them, it's taller height pegs on the top 3 strings, and then it shrinks to the smaller on the high end strings up here. Now, already upon inspection, I can see kind of what happened. This is like free floating. So I'm wondering if I can find a way to put that back in there to hop back on like the gears, I guess, to see what even went wrong. I have no idea how that happened, but obviously you're not supposed to be able to do that. So we're going to try to get this out, get the small height size in there. So it's small, supposed to be small, small, big, big, big. So when you are swapping your tuners out and you got an inline, make sure that you're following that order or you'll be kind of mismatched. And there's a purpose behind it. Basically higher, or I guess lower strings here, higher strings up here. They want the tension to kind of be easy across all 6 strings. So I guess that helps. I'm sure there's science behind it. I don't really know how exactly it works. I believe it's kind of like maybe an artificial tree string kind of thing is kind of what it's doing. But enough talking. Let's go ahead and get this done. Okay. So first things first, very simple. You want to remove the nut on the top that is holding the washer secure to the base of the tuning peg. Very easy. Remember what your daddy said, or your mama said, when you were a little children. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Okay? So let's go ahead and get that on here. This is where having that extra height comes into play. Because there it is. Hang on. It's hard to get this angle in camera and talk and do this. So this is where having that extra height comes into play, because sometimes, and it didn't even take that much force either. It's already off. See? Boom. Sometimes these tuning pegs can be pretty tall. And so if you have a shallow bit, it's just hard to do. Okay. So there we go. Let's set this over here. Actually, all the broken pieces I'm going to put in my little dish that I have over here. And now the rear of the headstock, there's a securing screw. We'll take that out and it should slide perfectly cleanly out. Okay, so let's go ahead, handle that. Flipped her over. We're looking for E and B is right here. This is our problem child. We're going to go ahead and this right here. And again, you know, don't be afraid to work on your guitars, man. Like, this hobby is so rich and fun and beautiful, and it's so cathartic to have a guitar and to play it. It's even more fun sometimes to work on your own stuff. And here's the secret that Big Guitar doesn't want you to know. You can work on your stuff and you really can't hurt your guitar. Even if you snap your headstock off, it'll cost you, but you can repair it, man. So please do not be afraid to work on your stuff. All right, don't let these people fool you thinking you got to take your guitar to a place. There's plenty of information out there in this day and age that you can just work it yourself. And hopefully this video gives you some confidence in making these little small repairs or upgrades, you know. So as you can see, it slid right out. Perfect. I was really debating on taking off all of them, but I just don't want to do that. I cleaned and restrung this guitar very recently, so there's no need to get in here and do a deep clean on it. But however, a note, whenever you're picking out tuning pegs, make sure that you check the specs on your neck to make sure that whatever you're buying fits whatever the guitar was made for. Years ago in the past, I had purchased a set of these guys here, not this specific kind, but bought a set of tuning pegs, and they didn't fit. And I was so bummed because, you know, when you're younger and money's like really hard to come by, and you spend like $80 to $100 on a part, and you're like, man, I'm so excited, and then you get your balls crushed because what? It doesn't fit. So do a little bit of research on the front end. The good part about Gotoh is that they follow the factory specs for Jackson. So that's a really great brand if you want like no fuss, like replacement parts. Everything was drop in today. So I didn't have to drill on the back of the headstock. I didn't have to do anything extra. It just was plug and play. And that's the kind of stuff that I look for that'll save you time, money, and energy, and your mental your mental state, you know. So let's go ahead and put the new one in right now. Okay, now when we are going to put the guitar back together, what you're going to want to do is operate the opposite way we just did it. So we're going to put the peg in from the back, no pun intended, giggity giggity. And then we'll put the screw securing it to the back of the neck, and we'll go ahead and drop this on the top, and the nut attached to the bolt is already on here, so should be pretty quick. Let's go ahead and feed that through and secure it in. So just like we did a bit ago, you're gonna play a little matchy game right here. Boop. This is kind of hard to do one-handed, so bear with me guys here as I try to struggle. All right. Oh shit. I'm like trying to balance my guitar and everything. Okay. And I see it. Slow. Slowly. Come on, magnetic screwhead. Don't fuck me now. Yes. Okay. We're in, boys and girls and non-binary gender fluid folks watching. Okay. All right. So these are locking. I'm just tightening that just a bit so I can get a little bit more, I don't know, tighten. It doesn't have to be super tight, just hand tight like that. If you feel like it doesn't go anymore, don't force it. You don't want to strip anything or ruin the wood, because after all, that is just wood. So now, very easy part. We're going to bring out our socket again, but make sure your washer is on the bottom of this bolt here. And this part is very simple. So, and drop her in right there. Boom. So we're going to go with our hand just to tighten it just a little bit. Tighten it, almost there. Now I get to the point where I need to use my socket. And again, guys, make sure you don't over tighten anything, please. It doesn't have to be like tight that you're gonna feel like you're stripping it, because that's the worst thing ever. If you guys aren't hobbyists or haven't had that much experience working on things, it's so easy to over tight something, and it turns a 5-minute project into 3 hours of literal hell. So get that down just a little bit more here, And you could see I'm not going that hard. I'm really not. Just right there. Boom. That's it. Done. So let's give her a good old take a look and see. Everything is looking good. As you can see, the height difference is there. The angle's a little weird, so it looks misplaced, but that's bigger right there. That's small. Everything is small, so small. That's a better angle. It's kind of hard to tell from the camera, but that's right. So go ahead and get that. Huh. Okay, that's the locking part, if y'all didn't know. So if you look here, as I'm twirling this, it will actively push on the string to the top of the housing of the tuning peg to press it up against there and keep your string from needing to be wrapped around 60 freaking times. Makes your life a little bit easier. And also a small note here, with this, you don't have to wrap it around even a full rotation. As you see, the A string, it's just barely on there. D string the same. E's a little different because it's harder to judge. It might be, yeah, it is one full rotation on the low E string, but you don't really need to wrap it around a bunch. And so, especially with how good quality these are, your string isn't going to go out. I promise you that. I've used this a ton of times. This seems like a one-off thing, but I'm willing to bet, honestly, the issue was just this. And it looks like it's threaded on the inside. That's threaded on the inside there. And you can see thread on over here. So here's what I'm willing to bet. Dude, honestly, I think all I have to do is screw this back on and this is gonna work just fine. So how about this? How about, I'm gonna go grab some blue Loctite because I have some, and we'll put some on there. We'll put it together. We'll see what happens. And yeah, I'm willing to bet that's gonna work. And then I have a full set. Great, okay, I'll be right back. So this right here is called Blue 242 Thread Locker, Loctite. This stuff is freaking amazing. I use it from anything from guitars to some of the other projects I work on. It's really excellent if you're going to torque down something that you don't intend to remove or want it to loosen with a ton of vibrations or knocking around. What this does is it is safe to use on parts like this because it's just enough for it to lock the threads in place, but not so much to where you have to apply an enormous amount of heat or torque to unscrew it. This stuff is amazing for stuff like this. It's great for other hobbies. I hunt and I use guns a lot and optics and all that kind of stuff. So this stuff I use on all of my optics across the board, whether it's like a EOTech or like a LPVO or something. This stuff is amazing. So what I'm gonna do now is just apply a very, very small amount. Whoa, to this. Hang on a sec. Looks like something just popped out. Do you see that? That's a spring. Oh, okay, that's easy. Put that on here. And it's gonna go in just like this, right? Yeah, just like that. So let's put a small amount. That's probably all we need. Did you see that? Did you see how small of an amount that was? It's a tiny, tiny drop. And that's it, man. I'll clean that off camera just to make sure. But so I'm going to be very careful not to, because I don't know if this is internally sealed or not. I'm hoping it is, because I don't want to get blue Loctite on my gears. Yep, excellent. So do that a couple of times. I'm just rolling it into the threads, making sure it gets in there very, very well. Very, very good, kind of even surface. And as you see, it's kind of spread on there pretty good. Just like that. Okay. So maybe I will use these after all. And the only reason I'm using these is because, like, it's a lost cause anyway. I already have a new set. Like, I wouldn't normally put a crescent wrench on something like this, but okay. And now what I'm gonna do, let's put this up to the camera eye. You can see that going in there pretty good. I'm gonna take a little bit of alcohol and clean up this area right here very well. And just make sure that there's no blue Loctite, because I saw that there was some. It might be on the tip of that, and I don't want that. So we'll clean that off here in just a bit. But let's do a test here and see if it rotates. And it rotates. So really, at the end of the day, this was never broken. Somehow, somewhere along the way, this post just came out of that. So that's all that needed to be done, and this bad boy is good to go, seemingly. So we'll put this back. Well, I'll clean this off. We'll put this back in this. And now I have an extra set of these hanging around, which is cool, because I am going to have another guitar in the future. I definitely want to get another Jackson, so these are an easy swap and will make a world of difference. So I got these just sitting on ice until I need them, which is pretty good. So I'll put this back in the packaging, and we'll get this guitar up to pitch. And that's it for today's video. So hopefully, you know, you guys either learned how to do this or took a little bit of the fear away from working on your own guitars. What I really want to do at some point, what I should have did before was do another video on how to solder guitars and stuff. I just swapped out pickups, so I don't need to do any soldering work. But if I do in the future, I'll definitely make a video on that. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking around. And hopefully, like I said earlier, this helped you do a small upgrade on your guitar. And it really took some of that fear away, because when I was younger and didn't know how to do a lot of these things, or didn't have the tools, and thinking, oh man, I have to go pay somebody to do this. I'm telling you, the tools, that's all you needed right here. I didn't even need this. So put this away. You only need a screwdriver, a couple of things right here, boom. These tools, this was like maybe 15 bucks. You don't even have to get an expensive one. You can go to Harbor Freight and find a screwdriver with the bits for what, like way less than that. Got this at AutoZone. I don't even remember how much it cost. And this is very cheap and accessible. So, and it's good to have in your guitar kit, honestly. When you're a guitar player, like, and you're playing shows, you need to always have a guitar kit. I'm gonna make a video about that.